Hello again. This is another Sarahdime video, and it's about modesty. Before I get into the topic, I want to apologize because I don't know how far apart my Sarahdime videos are. Some of them are probably a week apart, some might be 3 days apart, and maybe there's a couple weeks before the next one. There's not really a schedule yet, and maybe I'll get to one, but if you're faithfully watching and you want it pretty regular, I'll try to get to a consistent point, but for right now it's usually just when topics come to me. I have not gotten any requests whatsoever, so it's usually things that are planted in my brain. Eventually I'll run out of ideas and I'll really want ideas, but for now I hope whoever's watching is enjoying these videos. They address, I think, important things for most people about modesty. And about most things that I'll be talking about. There's always a line that isn't to be crossed. There's always like I guess a middle ground I'm trying to reach when I discuss things, and there's always more than one side to an issue. I'm here to present something that could hit close to home for a lot of you, and I'm going to address it to both men and women, and I'm going to try to address kind of all sides of it. I'm trying to be, I don't want to say open-minded, because I think I'm pretty sure about what I believe, but I am going to try to be thorough, I guess, in how I explain my thoughts and what I think is important. Now, in general about modesty, we need to understand that modesty has to do with how we present ourselves and about what we wear. I can't think of a situation where it's morally better to dress or act immodestly. And many decades ago, it used to be considered immodest to show your ankles. But now, especially in 110-degree weather in Arizona, we would laugh if we couldn't wear shorts. Even though the U.S. and many countries are loose about modesty, it doesn't mean that there aren't options. And now I want to address men and then women specifically. First, men, I understand that God created you to be really visual. You notice a beautiful woman at work or on the street or in a sign, and you'll capture that image and end up with a choice. You'll either quickly look away and distract yourself with focusing on work or with the thought of your wife, or you choose to drool over that image with your eyes, or worse. That second choice can get you into big trouble, even if no one knows but you. But I've read enough and have been married long enough to know that you can't help what you see. You can only help what you do and think. And I think I speak for most men that they're frustrated that this culture is so sexualized and that women don't always consider what they wear. I think that although most people, if they're married, like sex, I think that they don't necessarily want it in their face at every turn. But now it comes to women. We don't necessarily have the same issue. We have eyes, so we notice a good-looking man, especially because men can walk around without a shirt in public and women can't. But generally, if we're attracted to a man, which is different for women than just noticing he's good-looking, it's because he's shown that he cares for us personally or for people in some genuine way. And he just might happen to look good, too. But to the tough part, despite popular belief, we have a bigger role in how our men react to what they see. I acknowledge that rape is never okay, even if the woman that was raped was dressing too immodestly. I was molested in junior high. I get it. But think about how you dress. If you're married, ask your husband if it's showing too much, because there might be a lot of married men who love their wives and honestly don't want to be tempted to look. They'll have an easier time being faithful in heart and body if they don't see a woman's cleavage or long bare legs. I know you can't control what other women are wearing. I know you don't want to wear a head-to-toe onesie either. You may perform a song or run a company, so you wear nice dresses and high heels and makeup. I love dresses. Almost everything I wear is a dress. But there are ways to look nice and still be modest. Some companies even design clothing with modesty in mind, and I'll share them in the description below. There'll be at least, I think, 2 places I can think of that have modesty in mind. But even if you don't buy their clothes, which can be on the pricier side, asking a spouse or a trusted female friend if it's too immodest can help with your decision. And if you're in doubt, I would change your outfit. Some of you may ask, why should I be modest? I still don't really care about that. But if we think about our husband, our boyfriend, our fiance, whoever we're with, I think we can say we don't want a beautiful half-naked woman in a two-piece bathing suit to walk by and basically encourage our man to stare at her. I think that most of us wouldn't want that to happen. And I think if we are that two-piece wearing immodest woman walking by another man, that we're doing the same thing to him. As for two-piece swimsuits, I wouldn't necessarily say you can't wear them. But again, if there's doubt, if you think that it might attract the wrong attention, I would look for an equally cute one-piece or swimsuits that technically are two-piece but cover more. And I'll post a link for those as well. Personally, I don't wear two pieces. Well, technically they're two pieces, but they look like a one-piece. That's the most I'll do. I don't like showing my midsection. Personally, I have an insecurity about it anyway, but I just, even if I was in the best shape, especially if I was, the typical beautiful woman that most men like, I would not want to be a stumbling block for married men. And ladies who go to church, especially if you serve in church, you have an especially higher responsibility to dress modestly, even if you're single, because you don't want to draw eyes of men in that way, because they struggle with this. They can't really help how visual they are. I mean, there used to be a time that a lot was not allowed to be on billboards or put on TV commercials. We were not allowed to dress as immodestly as we're accepting today. And men who love their wives or are just a single man with integrity probably really struggle with this sexualized culture. And I can go on for a long time about how much sympathy I have for that. But I know it never ever justifies men making bad choices. I think we can use our imaginations about what those bad choices are, whether or not the woman has dressed modestly. But I'm just addressing the women because I am a woman, and I think that we can really help with this issue, even if it never goes away. Especially for you married women. If you notice that your husband, bounces his eyes, or he looks away, or he gets into a project right after he's noticed the woman in the tight running suit on the sidewalk, or who's barely dressed on the billboard, if you notice him looking away, smile at him. Even tell him thank you for not staring at her, because he's trying to honor you, even despite the fact that he was made a certain way. He was made that way to enjoy you as his wife, not to see every other 10th woman on the street dressed immodestly, which is probably pretty accurate. It might even be lenient, because a lot of women tend to dress in a way that attracts every eye on the street, and that's not why God created them visually. He didn't want it to be a struggle to be faithful. He wanted it to be a way men can enjoy women to the fullest capacity. He made women very beautiful, even if you don't believe you are. Most men try to do the right thing. They try not to gawk, but we can help them. And we should teach our daughters how to be modest for these same reasons. Because too many people, men and women, exploit people for terrible things. And it's at times with people who choose to show a lot of their skin. And we have accepted this too long. And as cliche as it sounds, we can be a part of the solution even if it never goes away. If you have any questions, or you want clarifications, or you have a video request, please comment below or message me privately. I look forward to talking to you next time. I hope that it's with a subject that someone requests, because this was not requested. None of my topics have been requested yet. These are things that I have thought about that I feel like they're planted into my brain, and I can't get it out of my head until I've made it into a video, because I think these are too important not to share. not even just for Christians. Even though I'm a Christian, I'm not just talking to Christians. I'm talking to everyone. I think this is an important issue. I hope, personally, I do hope to convince you. I hope that you can, dress modestly and still dress well and figure out a good balance between the two. But I'm just trying to inform you about things that people don't necessarily think about. Only a couple years ago did I think about the married men who might gawk if I dress immodestly. I've always dressed modestly, but I didn't really think about the other married men that might be attracted to what I didn't really understand the visual nature of men. I always kind of was leaning on the side of, well, men shouldn't do this, this, and this, but I didn't necessarily think about what women can do to help and how we're different. And I'm either going to link it or just give you some names, some information below in the description. But Shaunti Feldhahn, I'll spell her name in the description. She writes so many good books. Some of my favorite books are from her. She talks about men and women and marriage and sex and some things about modesty and about how men are visual. So many important things I know are because of books I've read. So I will at least put her name in there. She's an author. She's spoken at my church, actually. I'll even try to list some books maybe that I've read that I really, really like. So look at the description. That's really, really important. I think that this video might not convince you one way or the other, but if you read for yourself or look into some things, you might find a balance that you like for yourself. Single, married, man, woman, I don't care. I hope you enjoyed this. I look forward to any requests. I would love to do a video from a request sometime because it might challenge me a little bit more. These are just from things I think about, but if someone requests something, challenge me. I dare you to give me something that I can share my opinion or figure out what I believe on something. Challenge me. I dare you. I look forward to next time.